The hype that has been surrounding Overwatch this year has been massive. So many people have been jumping on the hype train, and yet some people are left wondering, does this game even deserve it? Does it live up to the hype? Well, that's what we're here to find out. My name is Prodigy, and this is my official Overwatch review. Overwatch is described as a multiplayer first-person shooter that was developed and published by Blizzard Entertainment, who also developed a slew of other popular games. It's priced at $40 on PC and $60 on console. I personally bought the PC version, so that's the gameplay you'll be seeing and what I'll be basing my review off of. Overwatch is a multiplayer-only game, so obviously the gameplay better be amazing. And thankfully, I believe Overwatch does that. There are a total of 21 heroes at Overwatch, and they can be chosen from the start. Each character has its own unique playstyle, and players can choose whichever character they feel will best benefit their team. This is sort of where people begin to compare the game to a MOBA, but I just want to be clear, this game is not a MOBA. You can switch between heroes mid-fight also if you'd like, if your hero isn't working out for you, or if you feel like a different hero will better benefit your team. There's currently 4 different game modes in Overwatch, which is Escort, Assault, Control, and Hybrid. Escort requires you and your team to escort and defend a payload into the enemy base while the enemies try and stop you. If you make it in their base before time runs out, then you'll win. However, if the enemies stop you, you'll lose. In Assault, it's your job to either take control of 2 enemy objectives or stop the enemy from taking control of the objectives. Control is a best of 3 round-based game mode which requires you and your team to capture an enemy objective and hold it down until the team gets to 100%. Whichever team wins 2 rounds wins the game. And lastly, Hybrid is a mix between Control and Escort. You must first take control of an enemy objective, then once you do, escort the payload to its destination. These game modes are played on a total of 12 maps, and each map is specific to a certain game type. So for example, Escort and Assault will never be played on the same map. Now this may not sound like too much, however Blizzard has already confirmed that all future maps and heroes will be released into the game for everyone, free of charge. And I'm never one to complain about free content, so kudos to Blizzard there. For starters, the game looks absolutely beautiful. The colors are on point and everything is super crisp. As far as actual gameplay goes, I cannot find any issues whatsoever. The game runs super smoothly. I haven't encountered any bugs or glitches or random game crashes or anything like that. When the game first launched, a lot of people did have trouble getting into the server, but that only lasted about 10 minutes, and it was most likely because everybody was trying to get on at the exact same time. The gameplay feels very smooth, the controls feel nice, and the game does a really great job at keeping you wanting to play more. There aren't many games out there that have the ability to get me instantly hooked, but that's exactly what Overwatch did. I also feel like Blizzard did a good job with the character balance. Every hero has their strengths. Some may be pretty annoying to deal with, and some do feel a little stronger than others. Bastion. But I do feel like they all have their place, as well as reasonable counters put in place to stop them. Overwatch has a variety of different customization options available, ranging from skins, voice lines, sprays, player icons, victory poses, emotes, and highlight intros. These are all cosmetic items and don't change the gameplay in any way, and they're pretty cool to look at. I personally think the voice lines are pretty sweet. The way you unlock these items is via the loot box system they have in place, which is basically an RNG roll that will randomly give you one of these types of items for a specific character. You earn a loot box every time you level up in the game, so the earn rate is somewhat decent, however I do wish it was a little faster. You're also able to purchase loot boxes with real money, which will of course give you better odds at getting cool stuff. You can also unlock things with an in-game currency they have, however I find that unless you purchase loot boxes, the rate at which you get the currency is pretty slow. Overwatch will allow you to see different highlights of yourself on the main menu screen after you've played at least one game. So you can look back and reflect on all your good plays and just tell yourself how much of a badass you are. The game will also give you tips during hero selection about what your team is lacking, which is helpful if you're having a hard time deciding who you want to play as. For example, it'll give you a little notice on the right side of your screen telling you that your team doesn't have a tank, so you might decide you want to be a tank just for that game. They need to revamp how they decide play of the game. There's been a lot of occasions where I've gotten a clutch triple kill or even a quad kill to escort my team's payload for the victory, and the play of the game was just some guy's random double kill that he didn't even put most of the work in on. Not trying to sound salty or anything over here, but I feel like I deserve a little more credit. Sometimes when you're trying to find a match, the game will just throw you in skirmishes back to back to back to back to back, and you'll never actually find a game. Now this has only happened to me once, so it's not a huge issue, but when it happened, it was extremely annoying to deal with. But I do think it's cool how the game lets you skirmish while waiting for a lobby, instead of just sitting there staring at a screen. But other than that, that's pretty much it. So how do I feel about Overwatch? Overall, I feel like Overwatch is a very solid game, and I know I'm going to be putting a lot of hours into it. Many people argue that this game isn't worth the $40 or $60 price tag, being that it's a multiplayer only and has slightly less depth than that of Battleborn. And while I do think $60 is a little too pricey, I think $40 is more than reasonable, especially with more content coming on the way for free. So if you're able, I would definitely recommend getting Overwatch for the PC. Even for the solo gamer, this game is a really fun experience. So for our final rating, I'm going to give Overwatch a 9 out of 10, and would definitely recommend this to anyone curious enough to try it. That's going to wrap it up for my review. This is Prodigy, and thanks for watching.